What do we know about the laws that actually govern this kind of situation? And do we have any examples of where those rules have been enforced?
So a lot of this is first impression stuff, and it involves parts of, for example, the U.S. Constitution, what's called the Foreign Emoluments Clause, sort of casually, which it rarely comes into play in court cases, which is when foreign leaders give gifts or presents to elected U.S. officials. And that's what some of the critics had claimed. Where some of these lease violations came in was very clear. It also states in the lease that the president can't receive, or the owners of the hotel can't receive gifts or presents because of this lease. And so what skeptics have claimed again, or what many have claimed, is that this needs to be looked at further, that simply the internal GSA review, which ultimately was decided by a contracting officer. We don't know anything about the background in terms of who advised him, or whether or not their internal lawyers came into play, or whether their acting administrator, politically appointed position, was involved in that decision. So what many have suggested is, gosh, we need independent watchdog agencies to take a look. And so GAO, for example, the Government Accountability Office, what I learned was the first to report for Bloomberg BNA, and also now part of Bloomberg Government. It was that in June, just a couple months after the GSA decision, fairly quietly, a couple of Democratic congressmen, Peter DeFazio and Hank Johnson, who have been very active in expressing their concerns, wrote to the GSA, the GAO, the head of the GAO, Gian Dodaro, basically saying, you guys need to look into what's called the outleasing, GSA's outleasing program, which is how the Trump administration, how the Trump organizations, that was the model, that was the way in which the lease was
I can guess the White House's response to this would be witch hunt.